Christmassy fragrances. Fragrances that, you know, kind of remind you of Christmas or smell similar to Christmas. There are quite a few of them that I will go over here. And as always, pretty much all the products in this video that I mentioned will be in Amazon, associate links down in the description below. Now, I'm going to start with my very favorite kind of Christmassy fragrance, which is Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. So, this is probably the most kind of Christmas-themed fragrance I've come across because it has all those spicy notes that you would expect. It has like what you would find in gingerbread cookies. Cloves, a little bit of cinnamon, some nutmeg thrown in there. Then a bunch of florals to balance those spices out. And then a little bit of, you know, ambery notes and some musk. So what's happening in this bottle is you're getting these really wonderful Christmassy spices and then blending it with the sweetness of the many florals it has, like roses and things like that. This is really nice, but it's also very strong, so you do have to be careful. If you're not a fan of generally, you know, spicy sorts of fragrances, this may not be for you. But if you like that kind of, you know, spice mixed with florals, this is really nice. And it will last a very long time, probably 8 hours on most people. So it's definitely a really good option if you want something that's really long lasting and warm and cozy at the same time and very reminiscent of Christmas. Then, kind of in a similar vein, a little bit more intense, is Taboo. This from Dana. This is kind of like the more hardcore cousin of Youth Dew. This is also a kind of vintage option. Youth Dew is from the 50s, this is from the 30s, so it's even older. This is primarily an incense sort of fragrance, mixed with some florals, mixed with some amber notes. This is less sweet compared to Youth Dew. Some people say Youth Dew smells a little bit like Coca-Cola in terms of its sweetness. This is way smokier. This is not for the faint of heart, but it is super cozy, super warm, definitely perfect for the winter time or the autumn, you know. And similarly, it is very strong. Definitely, you know, you gotta make sure you like strong, spicy, smoky fragrances before you try this. Otherwise, it might just knock you out. But it is, I would say it lasts 7-ish hours. That's about how long it'll last on most people. Projection is also really good on this one as well. So you just have to be kind of careful about your preferences here, because if you're used to very sweet, fluffy, floral fragrances, you're probably not going to enjoy this. So, you know, just keep that in mind. Then, going for something more modern, and I always call this one more of a fun fragrance because it's just kind of fun to me. This is Cherry Punk from Room 1015. The thing I like about this is that it perfectly and unexpectedly is able to mix a very sweet kind of cherry candy note with extremely smoky, almost bonfire notes. And as soon as you put it on, you get that really juicy, you know, cherry candy sort of smell, and then it, you know, slowly becomes the smoky smell. The cherry note still sticks around, but it just becomes way smokier. And I think that's just a really entertaining type of fragrance, but also really nice for cold weather and, you know, kind of Christmas time sort of thing. It's definitely very cozy. The smoke notes are so, I don't know, they're just really nice. And they're pretty accurate to what you would expect a nice wood burning, you know, stove or fireplace, what that would smell like. And it lasts a very long time. It's pretty intense, more intense than I initially expected. And longevity is probably around, again, 7 hours. So you don't really have to reapply it throughout the day. You just put it on once and it'll last a while. Then moving on to another modern option, which is also one of my favorites actually. This is Mancera Red Tobacco. So This is a tobacco fragrance, obviously. It's unisex, and what it does really nicely is that it blends sweetness with the tobacco notes. Because, you know, tobacco notes can sometimes be a little bit too harsh and too firm, but this softens it with some vanilla, some, you know, just some notes that make it more agreeable and smooth. And it's just a kind of unique fragrance. I haven't really come across anything that smells even remotely similar to this. So this is a really good option if you want to stand out. Maybe you're going to a Christmas party or something. You want to make sure that you smell completely different from everyone else that's there. This is a good, more niche option. And again, this is another pretty long-lasting option. 7-ish hours, maybe even 8. It is pretty strong. And like I said before, it's unisex, so it's good for that. Pretty versatile. And it's just pleasant. I like the sweetness mixed with the tobacco, the warm tobacco notes. Then, the last one that I have to mention is Instant Crush from Montserrat as well. I like this because it's kind of like Baccarat Rouge 540, but way toned down. So, like, I like Baccarat Rouge to a certain extent. The problem with it is that it's so overused by everybody, and it's just kind of a little bit overwhelming. It's a spicy, sweet sort of fragrance, leaning more on the sweetness, kind of like a burnt sugar sort of thing. This does very similar things to that, but smoother, I would say. More refined than Baccarat Rouge. Because Baccarat Rouge is kind of like really in your face. This is more just smoothed out. And it has some similar notes. It has the same saffron note thrown in there for a little bit of spice. Then it has the sweetness, but the sweetness is more toned down, which I like. And overall, it has a warm coziness with a little bit of sweetness that I think makes it work really well for the Christmas season and just in cold weather in general. And this is extremely long lasting. I would say minimum 10 hours. This is crazy potent stuff. And also really good reach as well. I would say, you know, you walk through a crowd in this, everyone will notice. This is something that is very easy to notice. So if you want something similar to Baccarat Rouge 540, but you want it more toned down and a little bit different, this is your best option. So those are my main picks for kind of Christmassy, Christmas time fragrances. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, of course, leave a like, comment, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.